So just kind of taking a step back, and part of the reason why we brought this up today was that we saw firsthand from an IT perspective, many of our clients scrambling to get remote connectivity up and running when the stay-at-home or shelter-in-place orders related to COVID-19 were put in place. And on the security side, at the same time, we were being asked to vet the security of those solutions, not necessarily for the same clients, but for other clients who had done something similar with their managed IT provider. And they said, oh, let's take a step back and make sure that, the connectivity is working now. Let's make sure that we're actually doing what we were supposed to be doing. So obviously hindsight is 2020, but really what we're talking about today is, going forward, as people look at what the next steps are going to be for their organization, particularly, one dialogue that I've been having with many clients is, do we even need to go back to the office, or what does going back to the office look like now that we've proven to ourselves that we can work remotely and on a collaborative basis from home? And how many people do we need to come back into the office, and how does that look in terms of how much space we lease or how much space we occupy? I think VDI it plays a really big role in that decision, or at least should have some consideration when discussing what work looks like in the future for your organization. You might decide that you want everybody back and everybody's more productive when they're all under one roof, and that might be the right decision for your business. But there are a lot of companies that highly doubt that. In fact, they have evidence to the contrary to say, this is the better model for us going forward. However, we'd like to change some of the things that we did in a rushed way to try to get people just up and running and really rethink and re-architect this. And that's where they're having conversations, more, broader based conversations on remote connectivity in general and how VDI can help in that process. So, there's the thin client versus zero client type discussion, which is kind of one layer deeper than the one that we're having today. Both, have, their benefits and their trade-offs. Most people are more familiar with the thin client setup because it's more, like computing used to be with terminal services and connecting into a mainframe and all those, good things. But there's a lot to kind of unpack with the VDI discussion. I think today we're really just looking at it as, okay, let's give this subject as a whole some consideration as to how we adjust to, I think in the outline we said the new normal, which is the buzz term of the month, I guess. Just trying to really conceptualize what work looks like for our organizations moving forward. So I don't know, I can kick it over to Matt or Tracy based on kind of what I just outlined there, and maybe talk about some of the conversations we're having with some of our clients on the IT operations side of things as they look to kind of re-architect what they're doing and how they're doing it, particularly as we go back to this phase or this next phase of reopening. And in particular, maybe we can talk about kind of how administration in the VDI model from our MS perspective could have some added benefits in terms of response times and things like that, because we've all together as a company stopped doing site visits, which was, on the IT side of things, if you had asked us at the beginning of the year if that was going to happen, we'd tell you were crazy. It was such a big part of what we did for our clients. But we have managed over these last 2+ months to really reduce, if not altogether eliminate, site visits for our clients. And I think most of them are, happy with the results of how we've adapted the service. But VDI could obviously be another have another benefit on that whole aspect of being able to get to their problems more quickly, assist end users more quickly, because it's all centralized in terms of the management of the desktops, which are often the things causing the most trouble.
To take silver linings out of all of these situations, right, is to say, let's future-proof ourselves, right? So what can we do to make our business stronger and more agile for the future? Because, when this all clears up and everything goes back to, what Nate said, whatever the new normal is, there still might be things down the line that you can look at differently, whether it's, how you're accessing the data that you're accessing or where you're accessing it from. There might be situations that are similar to this, maybe not in such a destructive manner, but if there's, like I said before, an office outage or things like that, you want to be able to have the flexibility and the agility to be able to move from option to option without having to have a major impact on your business, right? So again, all comes back to cost and efficiency, and every company really wants to be agile, but this is one of the really great ways I think that you can implement that and say you can point to it from a security perspective, from a cost perspective, and just from an employee perspective to say, hey, look, you're not feeling great today. Here, you can remote in, perfect. That's going to make a happier employee, which is going to make a better workplace. There's a lot of positive spin you can put on here, but I think just highlighting the flexibility aspect and the agility aspect of this is a really huge point. But you can go ahead, Tracy.
Yeah. So to kind of piggyback what you were saying, Matt and Nate, the ability to be able to centrally manage desktop is huge in the IT world. I think for a lot of end users, time is of the essence. So when a user calls in and they've got an issue, a lot of the times we need to be able to connect in with them remotely and kind of troubleshoot what's going on their machine. And having this central managed console, we can, say, okay, which user, what machine, we'll connect in quickly to the users and be able to troubleshoot the issues much quicker than if we needed to connect in with the field. The security aspect of it, being able to connect it from that secure data center and not be concerned about connecting it to an end user's computer that may not have, up-to-date antivirus or something on their computer that would then infect our computers. Keep the security aspect of it great, and I think a huge takeaway of what's happened of late is the ability to plan ahead. Disaster recovery, really, we have seen a lot of this with our customers now, reevaluating their plans and saying, hey, we didn't really have something in place. Let's put it in place now and assess, what type of desktops we may need for users. That way, if something like this does again, and those companies have a plan in place for these customized, you would say, desktops for users and different business purposes, it will just make transition from in the office to the virtual desktop much smoother, and allow companies to have control for that and update those images and get users connected to what they need when they need it quickly. And I think that's, again, the buzz word, I think, is quick. Everybody wants quick, and this infrastructure gives you the ability to have that. So